You know that sudden shock feeling when you remember you forgot to turn something off before leaving your home. Now imagine how scary it is to realize you haven't made your website secure, and now it could be too late. That would suck, right? But we can fix this, at least for most parts, with one simple solution: picking a secure hosting provider. So in this video, let's go through what I consider to be the best choices when it comes to secure hosting. Hey, welcome to the Policy Point. Before naming any providers, if you want to learn more about each security aspect, jump to this time frame, or, just watch till the end of the video. So without further ado, here's the most secure hosting providers. You knew it already. Namecheap is my first pick. Whenever we talk about security with an extensive feature package, there are a lot of fail-safes and tools for guarding your site, and it offers fast and more premium level hosting. I chose Namecheap because of its security. That's one of the things I like about providers being honest. You get a premium grade wildcard SSL certificate, daily backups, free CDN integration with DDoS protection, and both firewall and web application firewall. That whole security package is the reason why Namecheap hasn't had any major security incidents in the past decade. Sure, there are the occasional situations where my WordPress website got hacked. Well, that's where the users are to blame most of the time, but even then, Namecheap helps to solve them. As for advanced features, I like the fact that it has its own security plugin to fortify your site and deploys an AI anti-bot system. Sure, it's not cheap, especially if you look at the price after renewals. So sadly, it's not for everybody, but you can always find discounts in the description to make things cheaper. If Namecheap is the most secure provider, then Hostinger is the most affordable, secure hosting. It can offer a very similar feature package, but at a 3 or 4 times lower price point. Sure, you don't get really advanced stuff like with Namecheap, but the security aspect is still really strong. So what's included? The cheapest plan has all the security basic features. We need a free Let's Encrypt SSL certificate, weekly backups, DDoS protection with Cloudflare, and a firewall. Some more advanced tools are locked under more expensive plans. These include upgrading to daily backups and free CDN. I can't say that Hostinger is the most secure provider out there. It had an incident a few years back, but I would be lying if I didn't mention that they were pretty honest about that and improved security quite well. It is also the only provider here that allows you to pay in cryptocurrencies and be anonymous while getting hosted. The pricing here starts below $2 a month for the cheapest plan. Sure, it's before renewals, but even after your first buy period is over, you can host a simple website with a strong security base under $5 a month. A pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Now remember, kids, the only way to stay safe on the internet is to use protection and discounts. I gathered the best deals I can find in the description below, so check it out. InterServer is the choice if you just want one plan and not overthink which of 20 plans is the right one for you. It might not be as known as the providers I mentioned before, but it has a few more interesting features than both of them. Shared hosting here has a few levels of protection. First, a free Let's Encrypt SSL, weekly backups of your content, spam protection, and 2-factor authentication. Next up, InterShield, an advanced package that comes included with the main plan. It has a web app, firewall, upload scanner, email protection, and malware detection. Another quite unique feature, or at least less widely used, is its Inter insurance. Yes, everything here has to have Inter before it. Just accept it. Anyway, what this does is guarantees that if your site gets hacked, no matter if you caused it, developer teams will analyze, neutralize, and protect your site from the same threat in the future. It's not a magical solution. It can take lots of time and nerves, but it's kind of like having a friend to beat up any punks. During my research, I couldn't find any real information about InterServer being hacked or causing security concerns, so all of these features must be working. It might not look like the slimmest and modern hosting provider, but it's one that really cares about your website. InterServer is also a bit more expensive than Hostinger and has only one main plan, but even after renewal, it's just $7 a month, so it's definitely not as premium as Namecheap. It's a simple provider, but clearly not a weak one. Now let's talk about what certain tools and features do and why they should matter to you. These are the essentials of every secure website. SSL certificate. Think of it like a filter that takes and encrypts both your website connection to the user and its connection to your site. This is essential for your security and SEO. Not having one can damage your site in the eyes of your users. Automatic backups. The more often your provider makes backups, the better. The best option is to get daily backups, but honestly, for some projects, weekly backups will do just fine. DDoS protection. A denial of service attack is when your site gets flooded with millions of fake requests or traffic and well breaks. This tool recognizes these malicious intents and stops them from reaching your website. Firewall. Think of this as a bouncer at your club. It sets certain rules for connections, allowing ones and rejecting others. Every provider on my list has these features and tools, but there are some more advanced features like web application firewall. It sounds similar to a firewall but protects 2 different levels. WAF is web level protection, so it helps protect your WordPress installation and manage connections there without doing anything to the server level. Malware scanner/virus plugin providers offer either an in-house solution or their own plugins for protecting your site from malicious files and code being added. Any extra extra scanning tool or protection is greatly welcomed, especially if you are a beginner and don't want to mess around with things. Domain privacy is more about protecting you from spam or the wrong people getting your information. It works by hiding your personal info in domain registrar databases and only showing the provider's details instead of revealing the owner of this domain name. You must if you want to craft something like e-commerce or large projects. I mentioned security on your end, and sadly, there's probably no provider in the world that could take care of everything. Well, unless you don't want to manage your website at all. So make sure you use strong passwords. Don't use outdated plugins or themes. Try to avoid anything looking fishy, and for God's sake, always use two-factor authentication when available. Before concluding, these lists are not the easiest thing to do since I have to compare lots of providers, tools, features, and just there's a lot. So if this video helped you at least a bit, show me some love, maybe spare a like or even subscribe to Cyber News. These are the providers I can confidently recommend as good guards to your website. All of them offer the basic level of security as well as some more advanced tools to keep your precious data safe, but they do vary in a few things. So if you want the premium protection and can spend a bit more, go with Namecheap. It's sleek and powerful hosting, but can be a bit too much for beginners when you're on a budget. Hostinger will offer very similar protection for 3 or 4 times lower price. It's not just cheap, it has great performance and is a great starting point. And choose Inner Server if you just want to get one plan and forget about it. It might not be as sleek as the other two, but it has an unlimited plan and really simple controls. Pick the one for you, and happy hosting. Just remember, there's no such thing as bulletproof hosting. Every provider possibly could be compromised, so keep up your own security practices as well. So what affordable providers do you know? And did you have any questions about hosting, pricing, and whatnot? If you do, well, leave them in the comments. I might just make a video answering them. That's watching, and bye for now.